as a luxury or a toy, or maybe it means they got to sell their, their toy sports car or something in order to substantiate the club. Those are decisions that many times they didn't have to make before. And so you got fewer businesses, little or no growth in the population in Northeastern Ohio, and too many golf clubs. So and then the social element that's changing all of that is, I guess it's been around for a long period of time, but the soccer games and the other things that they got to do from a family commitment standpoint or want to do, just are going to take precedent as well. So this is maybe something I can do away with or not have, and so it becomes much more of a luxury, I think, and it'll be harder for the best will still stand, and I'm sure Lakewood will continue on its tradition for years and years to come, but it won't be without a good fight. We're actually, I think we got a much better situation on the west side of Cleveland than they do the east, because we don't have. We have two premier courses as our clubs, as far as I'm concerned, and there's a couple others that are fighting to stay alive, or three, I guess, if you said Red Tail and Columbia Hills and Avon. I'm thinking, did I miss one?
No.
Thing, but you got 15 or so on the east side that all of them can't exist. Just no way.
Do you see merging or having a sister club like Sand Ridge and Mayfield have done? And, is that
I think that's an interesting phenomena. I think we're silly not to. I don't know about merging. I'm for one not in favor of merging, but I am very much in favor of the affiliation type of thing. I now live down in Medina, and I've seen what that's done for Weymouth, Fox Meadows, and Signature of Solon, for instance. And I've had a couple friends at Mayfield, Sand Ridge, and how that's worked. And I think we're kidding ourselves. It's not that they would use it all the time, but we got to remember that the thing that's supporting most of our members are their businesses. And if they can use other clubs to entertain individuals or prospective customers of theirs without them coming here all the time, I think that's a real plus. And what's it cost? It really doesn't cost anything for us to affiliate on that kind of basis with an affiliation that is now. You got to be very careful how you do that, because it does change the culture of the club a little bit when you've got fellows coming in from other clubs. But I've been fortunate enough to play most every private club in Northeastern Ohio with some other guests or clients or customers, and we have a nice reputation in the community, and so do other clubs. So, and unless they let their hair down too much, if we pick the right club, it's a no-brainer. We're going to get some positive influences on that as well, because I think too many times we look at just the world just right here. And I belong to my club in Florida, and what we had to go through there, as Vic, in buying our club out from Bonita Bay, it was 800 members that rallied around the club, the club, and around the flagpole to buy and pay up some additional money to buy the club out. And you didn't know each other. You didn't know most of them, and then you hardly ever saw them. Maybe you played golf once last winter with them, and then everybody goes off in their own direction. But for the benefit of the club, you all rallied around it. Those kind of things can also happen here with some kind of affiliation like you're talking about. And one of the beauties that I like about golf is golf and business and social mix very well with me, and they don't have to be good golfers. God only knows I'm not a good golfer, and I'm normally not playing with scratch golfers. So, but everybody can have a great time and contribute and have a great competitive match. I like the etiquette part of golf, and it brings people with class to the table just by the way it's designed. So I like that. So you get some professional people that are coming to make some good social contacts and professional contacts. With golf as the venue.
You can find out a lot about people out on a golf course and the way they behave.
Oh yeah, a lot about them. I've done a lot of prospecting and networking in the insurance business on the golf course, and sometimes even interviewing. They didn't know I was interviewing them, but I wanted to see what they were like and how they operated when they got onto a golf course with other men, professionals particularly, we did a lot of entertaining when I was at Westfield, obviously with our agents and customers. And we would bring, as an agent, both when I was a part of Westfield and then before when I was a part of the agency, we'd take a group down there and play oftentimes. And Westfield could entertain 100, 150, 200 people at one time. Most country clubs aren't set up to do that very well. They do it almost every day. And there's a difference when you're set up to entertain that kind of number of people. But I used to tell our guys who were coming down there and maybe bringing some of their clients and guests, guys, today it's not about your golf game. So don't even think about going to the driving range, because we're there to entertain customers. And you're playing, but you wouldn't have to be playing in order for everybody else to have a good time. But we don't really give a darn about how you did. And we do care about how you act, though, out there. And you'd have to have those kind of discussions with some of the younger guys, particularly that maybe still thought it was whether they shot 78 or not that was important. And Vic, I know you can relate to that.
Yeah, it becomes too personal, an ego. You're not there to go ahead and show yourself off. You're there to go ahead and entertain, and make sure that your customer or client is very satisfied and had a great time.
Right. Tell me how much you care first, and then I'll decide whether we're going to do business or not. Right?
Right. Exactly. You're right about talking about people coming on the golf course after 4 holes. You know everything you need to know.
Oh, yeah.
How they're...
Especially when they missed that putt and how they reacted.
Yes, right. The words they say and their actions and body language, the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's good.
Yeah, brings character.
Any really outstanding, unusual scenarios, people, places, events? Yeah, how about...
You mean me personally?
Yeah, right. Here at the club, or what is the funniest story that you can think of, possibly, that occurred? It doesn't have to be here at Lakewood. It could be someplace else down south or whatever scenario. It's a fun story.
Okay. Well, I've had the pleasure of playing with Chi Rodriguez twice, both in pro-ams. Mm-hmm. And both of those, I would say, I've played with other seniors, particularly in pro-ams. Fortunate enough to do that, usually sponsored by an insurance company to put us in there. But I was playing in the senior pro-am at Canterbury, and I think it was Chi-Chi's first year. I think that was '87 or '88, and it was really just a fun round all the way. But it was, since he was just turning 50, the crowd was unbelievable on the first tee at Canterbury. And if you remember, if you know the first tee at Canterbury, it's a dogleg par 4, dogleg around the right. You can't really see the green. The trees are in the way. And we were all kind of shaken up by this crowd, and teeing off with the amount of people that were there. But they were there to watch Chi-Chi. And Chi-Chi called us over, luckily. He had just met us practically that morning and says, "Listen, guys, I want to tell you something." He says, "You just want to get up there and tee the ball way high." He said, "You don't want any worm burners here. You want to tee the ball up really high and just let her rip. And try to keep it out of the woods, but if you get it airborne, all these guys will go, ooh, and they won't see where it went half the time after that, see, so it'll be all right." And then it was just one thing after another that day that made us laugh. I was fortunate enough, even on I think it's the 13th hole there, par 5 down in the back. Mm-hmm. I had a wedge about 100 yards in with a wedge out of the rough to get on in 3, and the darn thing went in. And so we got a 3 net 2 because I stroked on the hole. While Chi-Chi's up there doing his sword dance and everything, he was dancing everywhere. So that jumps out, obviously. But I mean, we were going down whether it was that time or another time I played with him, we were going down the first hole, and the 3 people that were with him were all insurance agents that the insurance company had put in there, in the pro-am. And he calls us over again. He says, "No, I actually kind of said this loud enough so the crowd could hear it." He's working the crowd. He says, "All you guys are in the insurance business?" And we said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, if it wasn't for us Puerto Ricans, you wouldn't be out here because we vandalize everything and steal everything, and that's what keeps you in business." And you're thinking, "Oh my God, this guy's just." That was obviously off the cuff. Pretty good. So.
Entertainer.
I had who was the colorful player, Doug Sanders. You know, I always, this is 25 years ago, right? It was back in the, it was at the Vineyards in Naples. I was playing with him in a similar event. And he shows up with you know, he was full of himself, obviously. He shows up with a picture of himself, looked like the NBC peacock, with his 300 pairs of shoes, all different colors, all arranged like an NBC peacock, and gave us a photo of that with him and signed it. And that was pretty cool. But you know, he had some pink pants on or something like that. But it was a colorful round, needless to say, literally. Another fellow, one time we showed up and the guy gave us a book, 180 pages long. I still got it. Can't remember who gave it to us. The name of the book was How to Line Up Your Fourth Putt.
Wow.
And I can't believe that he had 180 pages on that, but he did.
You'd want to read that to find out.
But like most things, the title's a real catcher. You got to read it now, you know. How to line up your fourth putt. So some great experiences with golf. I love golf. I love everything about it in terms of what the venue that it provides for you, particularly with the people that you meet as a result of golf, and a common ground. And it's almost like I know when we bought our place in Florida 5 years ago, my wife said, I can't, you know, we bought it because she was happy with the place.
Right.
And I'd been looking at that particular area. There's 3 golf courses. We're on one of the holes, the 15th hole. And we're signing on the dotted line. She says, you've never played this golf course. I can't believe you wouldn't play the golf course before you buy it. I said, I don't have to play these courses because the 2 architects that designed them I knew. The Bonita Bay group I knew maintained them well. I checked into the membership of the club. And I said, you don't have to play them. I know they're beautiful out there, and there's 3 of them. I didn't want the situation where you can't get on half the time in the middle of the season, you know. So it's just kind of some of the interesting things that are provided by golf that you just know are okay because of the way they're maintained.
Exactly.
The integrity of the game brings people of integrity, right? Most of the time.
Yes. Very true.
Most of the time.
Every once in a while you have some incident, but you're right. On the overall high percentage, the people are, first of all, honest. And it's one of the few games, of course, where you play and you're the umpire as well.
Right.
You're calling a stroke or a penalty on yourself, which is unheard of, if anything else.
Right.
It's usually the argument between you and the referee and the people and their conduct.
And you're arguing with that guy upstairs, right?
Yes, yeah.
So the referee wins.
Well, that's great. You've seen a lot of courses. Is there one golf course that maybe you've played over the years that really stands out?
Oh yeah, this is a funny story. It's a good Lakewood story. If we got time for it, do we have time? My favorite course, and I've played it several times, is Pine Valley. And I mean, Pebble Beach, Muirfield, and a whole bunch of others are right up there. There's no question about that. Double Eagle, Wingfoot, et cetera. But Pine Valley was really special for a number of years that I got to play it. When I was trying to join Lakewood Country Club back then, as I mentioned, it was a waiting list. And it's September, and I've been in there since April waiting, and I'm not getting in. And I can see, shoot, I'm not going to get in this year. Next year, God only knows, I'll pay dues all winter long and may not even get in next year in the early spring. So my partner at the time belonged to Pine Valley with the Oswald Company. Mm-hmm. He had some ties to the East Coast and had spent a lot of time up there. And so he belonged to Pine Valley. And we came up with this idea. We said, now none of us are running for office, so this was legal. We said, you know, how about if we take some guys from Lakewood to Pine Valley to get to know them a little better, and maybe do some business with them down the road and so on. That's a great idea. So, you'll like this story. So we set it up for the first week in October, in perfect time. You know, things are winding down, but the leaves are turning. It was beautiful. And back then, United had an airline flight that left at 4 o'clock on a Monday, and we'd get up there, have dinner at Bookbinders in Philadelphia, play 36 holes at Pine Valley on Tuesday, 18 on Wednesday, fly back Wednesday afternoon. Everybody only loses 2 days out of the week. Pretty good, because they work Monday, and you didn't have to get to the airport at 2 hours before back then either, of course. This is 78. So who do we take with us? Well, I got the member, my partner, me, Bill Bender. Do you remember Bill Bender? Longtime attorney, resident here. And then we had Mike Manco Sr. I still remember who we took, who was involved in everything with the Greens Committee and so forth. We had Harlan Saxon was president at the time, I think. We had Ralph Marlett. We had, this was the first group now, Ralph Harrison, Jerry Boykin, Stu Hughes. So I got the club championship, the head pro, the president. You get the idea.
Yes.
Now, do I need to finish the story?
No,
We had a wonderful time at Pine Valley, and it was amazing. The following week, I got a call and said, "John, you're in." How did that happen? And then we took them the next year. And then we could only have 8. And when I say we took them, everybody paid their own way.
Right.
Except we paid for the host way.